Hey, pottery peeps. I'm in the studio, sitting at my desk, taking a breather, and I'm working on an art piece I will show you in a few minutes. And while I was working on it, that was a big car, I had on YouTube, I was listening to an interview with Steven Pressfield. It's Steven with a V, and he has written several books, and one of them is The Art of War. The Art of War? No, let me look it up. Of course, The War of Art. It's on. It's about creativity in the broadest sense of the word. I've heard about a dozen interviews with him by now, and I'm going to buy the book someday. There's another book on the way first, and he's incredible. And this is, in that sense, a very impromptu, completely spontaneous video, because he was being interviewed, and they were talking about community, and whether you are a mother, if that is your calling, or if you're a plumber, if that's your calling, or an entrepreneur, or a potter, painter, whatever, if you have a calling and you're going after it and you're doing that with all your heart, the community around it is very important. It's nice to spar with people to, that know what you're talking about. I mean, I wouldn't be a good partner for a mother. I don't have children. I wouldn't be a good partner for a plumber. Don't ask me that. But yeah, the community around you, visiting people you look up to, taking classes, or just talking with people that have the same calling is very important. And that's, I always say in my videos, please leave me a comment, keep the conversation going. And now I know why. Because being the only potter on a freaking small island in the Caribbean is fucking lonely. This is the first time I can say that without crying. Although this is impromptu and completely spontaneous, I've rehearsed it 5 times and I started to cry every time. But it's true. And oh, here I go. I realized that you are my community. And so this is a heartfelt thank you. I'm so glad you're there. I'm so glad you click that subscribe button. And even though you're not the kind of person that likes to write a comment or whatever, I know you're there. And that's nice. Feels like support. Feels like somebody knows what I'm talking about, even if I'm wrong. I mean, we cannot know everything. So yeah, I am very grateful for all of you out there. So thank you. Don't stop crying. And before this gets all too, let me show you what I'm working on. I wasn't intending to show anybody this until it was finished and in its place. But because I realized now that you are my community, and I do really want to share this with you, so I'm going to turn the camera around and show you what I'm working on. So here we go. Yeah, it's still covered because, it's getting hot here on Bonaire, so I have to be careful with, the drying and the things like that. Okay. Do you remember, those of you who have followed me for a while, that wave that I made, that was a practice piece for this? My ideas have evolved and evolved and evolved. But I think I'm going to have to tell you a little bit more before it becomes clear. I don't even know if you can see. Hold on. Can you see what's inside? I think you can. Let me try the other way around. Oh, that's better. This is built with coils as very thin slabs, and it's almost done. and then it's going to have to dry and be fired and glazed. Again, a wave, because that's what I was wanting to make. I was invited for an exhibition in our museum here, which is the end of this month, to be correct, the 24th. So I'm sort of kind of on a deadline, because it's the 3rd of this month now. It's an exhibition about how important the sea is for us on land, and of course especially for us on Bonaire. And I will show you a little bit close up. Those leaves you see and the little bulbs. Oh, what you can see. It's difficult to film. Hold on. Yeah, you can see it here. Let me change hands. The leaves and these little bulbs. I don't know if this is working, but who cares? This represents, this will be a wave, blue and white, and those leaves with those little bulbs represent a certain kind of sea plant. And I've been at this since, I guess it was December, and I did some research on how important the sea is and how we depend on it. There are some things that are quite obvious. You know, we need to have everything imported. So yeah, the sea is important for ships to come in with our food and our goods and everything. We make drinking water from the salt water here on Bonaire. Tourism is important, the diving, the snorkeling, the boating. But when I was diving into more research, everything changed. And there's one thing I did not know, which is, I always thought, and I am assuming a lot of people did or do as well, that the oxygen that is in our air that we breathe, that we need, comes from trees. And although that's true, it's only 50%. 50% of the oxygen that we breathe comes from our sea. And this is one of the plants, and I cannot tell you its Latin name at the moment. I will when it's done and finished and when it's at its place. This is one of the plants that creates so much oxygen, it comes out of the water and fills our air with it. Buggers are oxygen molecules, O2, and these will be red. But you will see that when it's done. Did I say it was coil built? I don't remember. I'm a bit still a bit emotional and overwhelmed, and I was really flabbergasted with the notion that 50% of our oxygen comes from the sea. So there you have it. It's my exhibition piece. It will be in our museum at the end of the month. Hopefully, she's almost done now, and then she'll be done today, and then she needs to dry, and I am definitely going to bisque fire this one. No single firing this time, because I have to separately glaze all these red. That we'll call it kelp, is going to be green yellowish, and the rest will be blue and white. So yeah, I'm not taking any risks there. If it's bone dry and I go in there with a brush with glaze, I am sure that clumsy me will knock off some of the molecules or break a leaf or whatever. So I'm very careful with it, and well, you'll see wind. You'll see when she's finished. That's it for this video. A short one, a spontaneous one. And again, there goes my plastic. Oh, I thank you so much for following me, for being there, and yeah, I'm happy to have you with me. See you in the next video.